Sometimes your Fujifilm camera cannot always reach its fastest shutter speed. I'm going to show you how to fix it. Hi everyone and welcome to Pal to Tech. Today we are talking about a little problem, a bug if you will, or to some folks a major source of Fujifilm confusion. And that has to do with your camera not being able to reach its maximum shutter speed even though you have everything set up correctly. So the controls for your shutter are located in the little camera icon right here. You scroll down to shutter type. You see that? And depending upon which type of Fujifilm camera that you have, you may see different options here. Mechanical shutter and electronic shutter. And of course, you've got some combinations of the two. If you put the camera into mechanical shutter, the maximum shutter speed you're going to be able to get is 1/8,000th of a second. You see that right here? However, if you put it in electronic shutter, at least on the X-T5, you can go all the way up to 1/180,000th of a second. But as you scroll down to the different combinations, for example, electronic front curtain shutter, the fastest shutter speed you'll get here is 1/8,000th of a second. And for this one, it's 1/180,000th of a second. Basically, your camera will try the mechanical shutter first. However, if you're shooting at shutter speeds beyond 1/8,000th of a second, the camera will automatically switch to electronic shutter, and then that will allow you to shoot all the way up to 1/180,000th of a second. This one only goes up to 1/8,000th of a second, and the final one on at least the X-T5 basically starts off with electronic front curtain shutter all the way up to 1/2000th of a second, and then the mechanical shutter kicks in after that and takes you all the way up to 1/8,000th of a second, whereby the electronic then takes over and will carry you all the way up to 1/180,000th of a second. But here's the problem. Let's say you have it set to this one right here. According to the camera specs and Fujifilm, I should be able to shoot all the way up to 1/180,000th of a second. So let's choose that. And what I'll do is open up my aperture all the way to f1.2. Next, I'm going to increase the ISO, or as Fuji calls it, the sensitivity, as high as I can get it. So in this case, I'm going to go all the way up to 51,200. And now I'll aim the camera right at the light. And of course, what are we going to need? A really fast shutter speed. And so I rotate my shutter speed dial. So to be able to go even higher, you rotate this to T position right here. And then you use the rear command dial. Do you see how the shutter speed is changing as I'm rotating the rear command dial? We're going up, we're going up. Oh, hey, it's not going past 8. What's going on here? If I go back into the camera, I look at my shutter type, have a look at this right here. This should go all the way up to this value right here, but it doesn't. The XS20 also has the same issue, and I tested out the usual suspects. For example, HDR or ADV. Some of these little settings can cause shutter speed irregularities. And frankly, I should have already known this, okay? I mean, it says so right on the box. Shutter speed irregularities. And so I continued my testing journey over valleys, across the plains, through the trees, every setting combination that I could think of. Nothing. I mean, I even tried meditating at a special Zen garden, contemplating life, firmware, and the meaning of shutter speed, but still nothing. And then I got angry. I stared down the camera, asked it to give me a big black duffel bag full of cash. But one day, my answer actually came from a Pal to Tech channel viewer named Dan, who told me exactly what's going on. Let me show you. To confirm, this should be the shutter speed it allows. Once again, if I try and raise my shutter speed, I cannot go past 8,000 unless I go back into my menu and I go to my flash settings. Go into flash function setting. As you move the joystick around, you can select different choices. You see that? Select the one that says M. Once you've selected it, rotate the rear command dial and switch it off. That's it. Watch. back to my light. Have a look at this. Higher and higher and higher, all the way up to what Fujifilm gives us as the maximum. Okay, what's going on? So it appears that if your camera is in a state where it thinks that the hot shoe mount is active, even though you don't have any flash attached to it, it will avoid switching to the electronic shutter. It will use the mechanical shutter only. And because when it switches to mechanical shutter, as you can see right here in mechanical shutter, the maximum shutter speed you're going to get is 1/8,000th of a second. And therefore, your shutter speed will not go beyond it, even though you may have it in mechanical and electronic, which is supposed to automatically kick in the electronic shutter without you having to think about it and give you that maximum shutter speed going all the way to 1/180,000th of a second. And so if this happens to you, your Uncle Pal Detect strongly recommends that you go into your flash settings, into flash function setting, and make sure that the M is off. I really want to thank my viewers for sending in these tips and keeping in touch and trying to figure these things out. This was a hard one, and I think a lot of people missed it, and myself included. So Dan, thanks, pal. And I actually have a lot of new videos piling up. In fact, more than I can almost handle, and I really want to get them out because we're nearing the end of the year. I've got some great ones for you. And Viltrox! Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found the video helpful, or at least entertaining. And if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. I am going to be signing off now, but have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in a new video next week. Take care.